Welcome to Daddy Comes First, everybody. Episode 22. We are flying. We are literally flying. Every week, a couple of more subscribers. Every week, more people learn how to do things with their life. And I am not saying that you should be grateful, but you know what I mean? Sometimes you have to pay for some of the things I'm teaching you. You have to pay for advice. You have to go online and then just pick, like, oh, I want to listen to this guy. And I'm going to pay him several $1,000s in order to learn what he has to say. Guess what? It's nonsense. It comes from a place of nonsense. So, the numbers are slowly inching forward and they're looking good. We don't have any new countries enjoying our great flavors today, but we need to do a report to just see where we are at. And I like to let everybody know who is in the armchair next to you. In the beta, delta, meta sandbox of life. Who is sitting down next to you in that comfy lazy boy armchair thinking, hey, this guy's funny and he teaches me things. Okay, so we still have, in this order of listenership, still hugely popular in Ireland, 42%, almost half. And then it drops down because I am such a global phenomena and threat. That is me drinking delicious flavored coffee. That's right. I'm a basic bitch. And this place I get, shout out to Wall and Keo. The coffee is delicious. It has 1.2% vanilla bean. Madagascar vanilla bean. The guy goes on and he hunts them. You don't know this, but that a vanilla bean is actually a tree-dwelling carnivorous cephalopod. Okay, so in this order, Ireland almost half, and then down Canada, United States, Trinidad in number 4, a bit upsetting, Netherlands, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, Italy. Oh, Denmark. Is Denmark new? Denmark might be new. I think Denmark is new. I wonder how much of this is just ExpressVPN fucking up my whole shit because they are, these people are trying to hide their pornography from people. I had ExpressVPN for a little while and then I don't know why I got rid of it. It was expensive if I remember. You have to buy it once a year. It was like $200. My digital footprint and my fingerprint and my face and my thumbprint and my credit card numbers and my personal information and my banking, that's not worth $200 a year. They should sponsor me. They have not. Okay. Next up is... let's run through the top again. Ireland, Canada, United States, Trinidad and Tobago, Netherlands, UAE, United Kingdom, Italy, Denmark, Australia, France, Philippines, Ecuador, Spain. These are all the countries listening now. I'm a little bit upset that there's not more Caribbean countries. And there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do. The average age is creeping up. Oh my lord, there's a couple of 60 pluses in here. Who's that? Must be my parents. Shout out to Anne and Derek. They never quite got what they wanted in me, you know what I mean? And they accept that. I had so many talents and I could have done so many things, and I chose to do the things that were financially rewarding in the least sense. The most stressful. But that's their fault because they raised me and they gave me the DNA. So, joke's on them. Well, females, 50%. Males, 37.5%. Not specified. Don't know what that is. Maybe just people who are shy. I'm going to say those are ladies. No non-binary. We talked about this before. So life is going well. I'm heading off to Trinidad shortly. Just in time for the world to start ending. I mean, what is going on? Obviously, I pushed that last episode out, and then the great Donald Trump got a potential assassination put on him, right? They blew up his air. There's several things that could have happened here, right? Let's be honest. One of them, he is setting it up, okay? Pew pew, couple of blanks get fired, although somebody did get killed. Pew pew, something gets fired, and then he hits the deck, and then, he grabs, somebody gives him a blood pack, he puts the blood pack on, there you go. But, I mean, a piece of his air should be missing when that thing comes off. You can see they made the bonnets real big just to remind people, I'll say this. It was impressive that after he got shot in the face, he stood up and said, "Void," or whatever he did. Because I would have been like, "Get me to the car! Get me to the ride! Where's the beast?" The beast is the enormous armored car that's really a tank, but it just has a Cadillac badge on it. I'd have said, "Get me out of here." I wouldn't be sticking my hand up in the air, nothing. And of course there were issues. There were a couple of fumbled situations. Clear as day. Some of those female agents didn't particularly look great. But I guess they're doing their best. Everybody could have a rough day. So option number one, the Donald faked it himself. He got somebody to shoot that guy and then fire blanks, and then he had a blood pack and the security service helped him. That's option number one. Unlikely. Why? Because in any conspiracy, the wider you go, the more people you need to cover it up, the more likely it is to be found out. Plus, didn't the camera catch that bullet flying by? And I think, MSNBC for sure, or CNN or whatever, they would have their analysts on that. Is that real? Is that a real bullet? Figure it out. We want to make this guy look bad. So definitely, yeah. Definitely, it's definitely, it's definitely interesting. Okay. Option number two. The big, what's the word I'm looking for? The control state, the deep state. They're saying, you know what, he's going to cut down that Ukraine war. We can have that. We're making billions of dollars. Life is good for us. It's horrific for everybody else. We need to be able to keep giving them Trident missiles that blow up children who are on vacation in Crimea. Very reasonable request. So, cut it out. So what do? Pew, pew, pew. They get this kid to kill him. Now, this is where it starts to get shaky, because how does this work? The kid was in a BlackRock commercial. Let's say it's BlackRock who were behind it. So what, they go to him and say, hey, they raise him up? You know what I mean? What do they say? Here's a bunch of junk food. We'll get you a nice wife. All you have to do is kill Donald Trump. I mean, there are easier ways to get a better. You know what I'm saying? There's easier ways. Although when you're younger, it seems like the hardest thing ever. When you're just coming up to that level of I'm noticing girls. I have these feelings in my body. How can I lie? naked on this young lady. When I was younger, I thought that's what sex was because our parents didn't tell us anything. We went to Catholic school, so I thought sex was just you get naked and you lie on top of somebody and it just feels real nice to have their chest against you or whatever. And then when you consider the fact that women, they develop quicker. So they've been having those feelings for a year or two. Are they thinking about that? What do they understand by it? I guess all kids now understand what it is, but when I was younger, I didn't know what the hell it was. I didn't understand why the penis had to move in and out on the vagina for it to feel good. I thought you just put it in there and it's great. I also thought that the vagina was like straight out. I didn't think it was a down situation. I thought like straight out. So I thought you could stand up and hug somebody and do it like that. Yeah, I just remember wanting to like touch a leg. I was like, wow, just remember one day just looking across the classroom. I was probably like 10 or 11 years old. And just thinking, wow, look at this girl's legs. I wonder what it would feel like to just put my hand on her leg and just rub it and just say, wow, this is a leg. That's where you start off. That's where the perversion takes place. And before you know it, you collapse in the shower after cleaning your smegma too hard. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. Please don't talk like that again. So we are here to discuss the possibility that BlackRock made this kid do it. All right, we're going back now. So they said, yo, we get you some ladies. And as we've just covered, sometimes that's all you want. You're desperate for a little tender touch. Desperate for a little tender touch. So they tell this poor fool like, yo, we get some girls. Don't worry, nobody's gonna see you. Go up on, go up on this roof. We've sorted it out. We don't have the what do they call it? We don't have the Secret Service there. Head up there. Pew 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 pew. And do the business, and we'll give you a bunch of money and ladies, right? So that's number 2, okay? And then they only gave President Trump, 20 or whatever. They made sure that no police officers were on the roof, whatever. And then there's the narrative that everybody wants us to believe, which is the craziest of them all. Okay? Which is that some kid found out Donald Trump was speaking an hour from where he lived. And he said, okay, Donald Trump is a danger to society. I'm going to kill him, even though I'm a registered Republican. I've never said anything online about my feelings. Nobody knows me as this political guy. No protests, no rallies. I got my father's gun. I'm a sniper, apparently. And I'm just going to head down there and see if I could find somewhere to set up. Oh, look. There's a roof. Oh, look, there happens to be a ladder next to this roof. Thank God. Let me use this ladder. I hope nobody sees me. Actually, everybody is seeing me. Everybody is shouting and screaming at the police. Nobody reacts. He gets up there. I hope those snipers looking in my direction don't see me. Even though they're trained to. And I'm going to shoot Donald here now. And 1 second after I shoot him, even though I haven't been spotted, and people have been screaming at the police for 2.5 minutes, the sniper's gonna dun me out 3 seconds after I get off my last shot. The Donald gets clipped. Some poor fella who's protecting his family gets dead. And the Secret Service take me out. What? I don't know, boy. I mean, I do know what happened. 100%. This is JFK all over again. They're not even trying to do new cool things like bombs or acid or poison. They're just going with the same old thing. They're like, let's shoot him. Lone gunman. Where have I heard this before? And then that's what goes on. You know what I mean? You just get a situation like that where it's plain to me that something else is afoot. You know? This kid just jumped up here and sniped out. Also, for those of you who don't shoot guns, okay, I shot very briefly for like a club, right? It was a club. It was actually much more nerdy than you would think a gun club would be. It was very nerdy. Lots of kind of middle-aged guys, lots of glasses, lots of high-waisted pants. I was 20, and we had a great time. It was good fun, right? It was in the basement of the college that I was in. You went in there, ping, ping, ping. They had rifles, they had handguns. You know what I mean? And I learned to shoot there. And again, it sounds cool, but it was very nerdy and very organized, and there were points and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, when you're target shooting, it's like, ping, line up your shot again, couple seconds, ping, line up your shot, couple seconds, ping. It's never like pow, 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 like 3 shots on target like that. It's just not, you know, for like that kid to pull that off. I don't even think he had a bipod, which is like those 2 little things that come down from the gun, like a tripod with 2 legs. And somehow he pulled it off. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then as soon as he pulls it off, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. Now, the sniper pulls it off because they are trained to do that. He lights that fella up and puts him down in no time. But I just have a hard time believing that 20-something-year-old was able to pull off. Okay, it's not a terribly long shot as far as snipers go. 150 yards or whatever it was. But guess what? Still difficult. And also to rattle off shots, you know. You know, there's some recoil there. There would be some lining up. So it sounded like the second shot hit him. Maybe it was the first shot. But I don't know. Something smelly, something's fishy, something stinky about that whole thing. And what else are you going to do? Right? They want to kill him. I mean, I think it's shocking because I don't think either of these guys are any different from each other. I just watch politics for entertainment. Because it doesn't matter who gets in, because there's a whole apparatus that controls what's going on. And then they sign an executive order here and there to make it think like they have any kind of power, but it really is a piece of nonsense, let's be honest. And then the next one is, you know, I would have dropped out. I think I would have dropped out. I'd have been shot in my head, and even though I knew I was going to win, I'd just be like, God, do I feel for this chaos, boy? Do I feel to go back into this beast? But I guess Donald Trump is running because he knows that if he stays out, they're going to cook him. So he gets in there, pardons himself. He's laughing. Merry Christmas. Christmas brings many, many surprises. I almost had my house burned down on Christmas Eve. My neighbor in this house, on the other side of this wall, might have been an Airbnb situation. I'm lying down here. My wife and kid at the time, I have 2 kids now. They're out doing whatever. And then what happens is I'm lying down there trying to mind my business. Somebody's knocking on my window. Hello, hello. We live on the street, right? The streets, the mean streets of Dublin. So right there's the streets. Somebody knocks on the window. Yo, 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 yo. You live in there? Hello, is that your house, like? Excuse me? Hello? I look outside. Is that your window? No. Why? It's on fire. Fire? So I kick into gear. I head outside. And the guy had lit a weird kind of candle thing that kind of burned down, and he had all these little kind of figurines or some kind of shit in the window, and they were slowly catching on fire. And it was about to hit the curtains. So we're banging on the window, nobody's answering. And so I come across it. I'm in the mode, ready to go. I get over here. I realize I get in the house, I need some water. So I grab a pot. I fill the pot with water. While the pot filling with water, I head out there with a hammer and realize I get into this guy's apartment. So I'm about to shatter this window. And then I realize, well, it's kind of open already. Let me just use the claw of the hammer and fireman style. And then jump in through the window and out that fire. So back then I was a bit more ripped and my head was shaved. So I looked a bit scarier. So, crowds of people are again around now. You have to kind of get up on a ledge to open up the window. I jump up on the ledge. I start to fall back. I say, hold my legs. Somebody hold up my legs. So they push them, hold them, lads. So we there, everybody, the whole neighborhood is involved. And I get the claw in and I boosh. Break a piece of the window off. The window doesn't budge. I go again. Hold me up. Gratishi. Boom. The window flings open now. Out onto the streets. And then I'm like climbing in through the window with a hammer in my hand. And what do you know it? Some poor bastard is home. He comes out from the back bedroom. He's in a towel. He was also in the bath the whole time listening to music, probably jacking up. He comes out and he has a towel around his waist. And he just goes, what the fuck? Because he just sees a man coming through the window with a hammer. So he thinks I'm about to club him to death. Anyway, he screams and shakes. What? Drops his towel. Fully naked. And so now everybody's screaming, fire, why you fucking gonna die? You're gonna cook in the depths of hell. You're gonna die. People screaming, people praying outside. The fire's catching now, getting bigger in the window, curtains, whatever. And he runs over to the fire with nothing in his hands, and he's like, he's kind of like panicking and like jumping around. I just remember his little kind of tan piggy flopping around the place. And I was kind of like, I was the only one laughing. Everybody else was still kind of scared. And then at that point, the fire truck pulls up. The firemen are coming in. Everybody's looking at this guy naked, flopping around in the window. He grabs a cup of water and he kind of starts out in it or whatever. And he grabs a doily from the thing to block his privates. The firemen come in and they solve it. I saved the day, but that poor fella, I have to show the whole neighborhood his bits. I think they were an I think there was an Airbnb. So that fella, I don't know how much stars he's gonna give because he thought he was gonna die. I mean, I'm not a threatening kind of looking fella, but with a shaved head and a clawed hammer. Claw out. Remember that? Claw out. That's the scariest way to do it. Ask our neighbor. He saved us one night with the claw. Another neighbor. This is a separate story now. End that last story. The guy was fine. The fire people came. That guy put on a robe. It was all good. But another night, we're sleeping now. We're in the ground floor, and the back of our apartment is like there's an atrium back there, right? A courtyard, if you will. And people are always smoking out there, especially if it's the Airbnb folks from other units. Yeah, they'd be like, yo, people sleeping here, go to bed. Most of the time, they're good. But there this one night, boy, there are these 3 Brazilian fellas, and they were just chatting. And then they started moving from the center closer to our window. Anyway, we asked them to shut up. They're not listening. Other people screaming from their window, shut up, which is very rare. They're not listening. So my wife I trying to zen out in bed, and I just saying, you know what, stoicism, don't let us bother you. And then I hear my wife start to get up, and I realize, okay, all right. I said, hey, baby girl, lay down, let me sort this out, please. So I'm like, oh God, I go and confront these men now. I trying to sleep, wherever. It is what it is. So I start to head outside, and what do I see? But a knight in shining armor come around the corner with a hammer, claw out, business end, you understand? And he goes up to them, boy. and he grabs one like this and he fakes to hit him. And they're like, oh, no, 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 no. They started like screaming, begging. Portuguese, they were so shaken, so they started switching to English. Like, oh, cool, bro, cool, bro. And he just started screaming the most racist shit you've ever heard in your entire life. And they were terrified for their lives. You could see it in their eyes, you know what I mean? And I've never felt so warm and cuddly and part of a neighborhood in my entire life. I was so happy that psycho lived in that building, and that night he had just had enough. Because let me tell you something, you know who never came out again? Those fellas. I never got the claw hammer guy's name, but it was so glorious. I just lay down and I felt so full with whatever. I didn't have to approach these guys and make a whole thing. I've had to threaten people before. Y'all all know I had to choke out the neighbor. And then I lay down and I was like, oh, great. And my wife goes, he shouldn't be talking to them like that. She was about to string these men up and kill them because they was keeping up. You know, mothers and their sleep. But as soon as that guy started to use racist epithets, she was offended, And I was like, you were just ready to kill these men. Stab them in the head probably. And now you want to say, hey, what? He shouldn't be doing that. I said, I thank God he did. Thank God he did. I didn't have to do it. And I would have, I would not go around with a hammer. I would have been like, yo, what's going on? We trying to sleep here, It would have got loud, and then, they would have kind of whatever. They would have said fuck off and went inside. That would have been it. But let me tell you something. Never saw those men again. Never saw those men again. Because there's nothing like a neighbor threatening your life. And let me tell you something. It was believable. You don't hold the claw side out of the hammer unless you have done it before and you know what it's capable of. He just came in there like that. The guy shake and he grabbed him. He said, get the fuck inside, you fucking cunts, you foreigners, I'll fucking bet ya. He just started screaming and cussing, boy. Like I said, it was the greatest thing I ever heard, and I felt so comfortable and happy that he was our neighbor, but my wife didn't feel the same. All because he was using words. Sometimes you have to just use words that you don't feel like using because to scare the other people. And this guy probably was a TD. You know what I mean? He probably was a member of parliament. Maybe he was a guard. Maybe he was a nurse or a doctor. And he had just had too much. And he's like, you know what? The only thing that's going to solve this problem is if I go back to my childhood and pull that demon out from whence it came and let it walk around and let people know what time it is. And he did. And you know what time it was? It was sleep time. And those three Brazilian gentlemen understood that very clearly. Muy clarata, as they would say. Muy clarata, mais coletas. Okay, you have to shh a lot when you're talking like that. Portuguese. So, moral of the story is, it is okay to use horribly racist language if you don't mean it. If you're trying to intimidate somebody or get them to stop doing something that you don't like. That's when it's okay. Other than that, keep it clean. Get the fuck up, fucking kid. You're just cussing. It was glorious. So two very different hammer stories from my neighborhood. Both very funny. Both I'm glad to bring to you today. And I'm just giving you these things because these are my life stories. And I hope you could learn something from them. And I hope you could choose love this week. Because Lord knows really a lot of it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ooh. Till next time, folks. I really love you all my life. I pray for some